console on the Silverado, you can pull this whole cup holder out, but I just pull back the front little corner. Actually, this one is already got the screws out of it. Usually you have two Phillips here and a Phillips there, so these are already out. Then you have two more Phillips in the front. I just drop those down into the console. You have a cigarette plug. Just disconnect. Some guys route this. They take this whole harness out and route it up through the cover when you're replacing it. I leave mine in. I find it a little easier for me. It's got little clips in the back, just a little bit of pressure, little legs. Just kind of pull that forward and they'll unlatch. And then you got your trim covers. They come along the side. If you look in the inside, it's got the retainer clips. I'll pop them out from the inside just by pushing the little releases. Instead of, most of the time they come off and then you have to take them off and straighten the little claws out to get them back onto the plastic. So I find that a lot easier. On the lid, if you're recovering the lid, this Katzkin does on a new vehicle match up colored very well. So on the Chevys, you don't have to cover the lid, but it does come in the kit. Little panel tool. These are just push in little legs, and the bottom layer of the console cover here just pops right off. You have 6 Phillips heads. Remove the complete lid. You leave the handle, the arms attached to the console. Just set that to the side. We're going to recover that in a moment. So you got that. The top of the console is completely done. You got Torx on the passenger side to remove this part of the cover. I think it's a 30. Usually it's a little tight because they put blue Loctite on it. Pop this up. You can use your hand to remove it. Pulls right off. You've already released the clip for this on the inside. See the little claw legs? I'll bend out, and if you try to pull it off without pushing any tabs. Then on the inside, that allows the console to fold. You have two 13 millimeters. 13s. Flip it over. You have a Torx on the inside. It's for the pivot. So that Torx. And this cover pops off just as easy as the other side. Very little pressure on it. Do the little Christmas trees for the harness. Some guys don't do this. They pull it out of the cover. I like doing it this way. It seems a little easier. And this console, top consoles are separated now. I start with my bottom cushion. Sometimes these little plastics will come off. They're grooved for everything, so they're real easy to go back on. You just kind of pull all your clips off. This is the easier console because it's non-storage. Just pull this cover off. You can actually pull the whole phone. Velcro's underneath. And there's your cover off of this piece. Grab the other color, so these panels, these little pieces just fall off. There's nothing there to hold them. Wow. There's no cushion. Grab the console piece. Turn it inside out. I'll Velcro their piece. Just line up. Pretty much you see their French seams. You just kind of line up your French seams with theirs. Once you get it all on, you can kind of make some adjustments. It'll wiggle around. It pretty much clips in one way, so it's pretty foolproof. Just kind of give it a little massage. These tabs fold in. That's what covers the back of that foam, so we don't see any kind of foaming area. Just hold those as you slide it back down in onto the frame. Lock it in, flip it over. Pretty much repeat all your clips. Make sure your little tabs are still folded in. Sometimes they unfold as you're giving it a little flip around. There's your bottom cushion. Like I say, you kind of massage it with the stitching and get all your seams lined up so it looks pretty uniform. Now we set that to the side. Piece is done. This is the middle fold up part, armrest. It's just got a couple clips, 2 clips here, 2 on the other side, the same. Here it has a cut with a little leg on it. You just kind of pull it down, pull it over. 2 more clips up front, and it's just got a sewed binding to hold that under the cup holder. And then you just pull it all off. You can cut it off however you like. Pull your harness through the hole for the 13 millimeters. It's pretty much just a big hole in the side of the console for all your wires and your bolts. Some of the kits from Katzkin come pre-marked, or they all come pre-marked, or they'll come pre-cut out with a small hole. Only thing about this particular is cut small and work your way bigger, so you don't have to order a new panel because you overcut it. I fold it inside out once again, kind of just lay it in proximity of where it needs to be, hold it in place and just start rolling the corner just slowly. Just work each side. Same with, work your way to the front. You can adjust it after we get it all along. It's got a seam in the middle. It's got 2 little notches here. I just kind of make sure I eyeball it so that pretty much is center. That pretty much will make sure that it lines up down the sides. This piece folds inwards. Sometimes it's a little tricky just to fold it in. See how easy that is? They do not put the clips there. They just do 2 little tabs here. Pretty much on this. Then you got your seams here. You got 2 little notches, 1 on each side. That's where that French seam kind of lays in to it because it's so much thicker. I just kind of pull it up. Just want it so it barely it comes over and tucks over. Then you can kind of lift this edge up and look down in there to see where your mounting tabs are to put this back together. So I cut just a little slit, about 2 inches, big enough to put my wire in, so I can cut it out afterwards. Some more after I finish wrapping it. Pull your wire through. Some guys go this direction. I like to go reverse. Now here, if you don't have a stapler, you can use a couple little self-tappers. Just screw this on. This is the only thing you need air for. Turn the air compressor on. I like to put a couple staples in this, just so it don't, whenever you pull this down, if it's not kind of tight, it'll be a little flabby. I put 2 in the front here. Let's let it build up a second. guideline for the Chevys is if I lay this parallel with the black piece, put two staples in it, I'm pretty much perfect. That's the way I've found out. Just two. It's a little bouncy. Don't take much. Because there's no support under there, so when you hit it with a staple gun, unless the staple gun is really strong, it'll give a little bounce to it. Your compressor's still building up a little bit. Just a little staple there. There's actually metal under that, so it'll crinkle your staple. Let's go back. Two more. Like I said, this is just basically just holding it in place, because once you put your panel in, it locks it in too. Hold those down. It's got two little tabs that kind of hold those corners in the spot. Now pull this, the lever up for the armrest. Pull this down kind of tight, and you'll see where it's parallel here. I usually put a slit about right there with that, and then pull it so when it stops, your actual cut will be right there parallel. Then we can reinstall your piece just to make sure everything's fitting. It goes back first, or front first, sorry. And the back just snaps in. Barely can tell it snaps in. There's not much to it. You got holes there. Then you got your two Phillips. Got your two Phillips. Just hold it down. It does have two lineup tabs underneath that when you push those down, you'll feel them lock in. Reattach your electronics. That's your cigarette plug. This is your USB. And this is the USB charger and auxiliary. You have two USBs. One functions with the radio, and I think the other one just charges. You put your cup holder back in. It just snaps in. If you have your two screws, you put your two screws in. That piece is pretty much complete. Here, you can kind of feel where your tab went, and I cut from that tab back. Oh, this is why the screws in it. Or whenever you have the cup holder out, you can cut from the inside to feel it. Just a little slit, and then you can see your tab up there. I cut the tab. I cut a little V into the tab. That way, whenever it snaps, it gives it a nice little rounded edge. You got your same thing on this side. You already cut a hole, so you can kind of see up in there. See your clip-in tab, a little V there again. And you got your two screws, or your Torx, your big Torx that goes in on the side here. You can feel it, or you can lift up and see it, or use a little awl, a punch, and that gives you your two locations. Set this back up here, back here. I'll put my two 13s back in first. Tell me everything's kind of square. I use the impact. I can feel it. They got a little shoulder on them, so it kind of lines you up first. And I go real slow to make sure they're not cross-threading. That allows you to make sure that you're lined up. Snap on your side cover first. Lay it on the side. This piece, it's grooved with little channels for it to slide, to rotate up in and out of, so it doesn't bind. Then we can snap the side panel back on. Make sure everything's out of the way. It's a little tricky to get back on. You have to go under your seat belt. You don't want to have to take all that out. It's your first one, you probably will, just so you don't have to fight it. It all just presses back together, nice and tight. Put our little torque back in. This is the 30 torques. Go easy with it because if you use a little bit, most of the time it'll break the bit off. This is a retainer, keeps the seat belt up so it don't fall down and get stuck in between the seat on the passenger side and console seat. Flip it over, we'll do the same thing to this side. We've already cut out for our big torques. This piece here, you just hog ring it. I mean, you can see where you removed it. Even if it's a new one, it'll still have a little mark there. It just kind of lays in there. Go back and snap all this back in, all the Christmas trees back in the same locations. Snap your side cover back on. Same thing, it's got little line up grooves for it. Kind of wet. This kind of just goes underneath your seat belt here. See on the other side, it's pretty much the same thing. You kind of just give it a little flex in and it will lay right in there. If not, you can remove that. Sometimes they have a little bit of Loctite on them. Just make sure all your clips line up. Plastic should be nice and smooth. Torques. Right back in. Your armrest is check all your plastics. Make sure everything's all snapped together. This one here is not. There we go. I kind of split this, snap it back in, fold it over, nice and neat. It'll kind of hold in place. Alright, set that back on. We'll set this on the floor. Now we're going to do the lid. The lid, just rotate through some tools real quick. You don't need as many. The lid has 4 self-tappers or 4 coarse thread screws that hold the insert piece in. A lot of times on the Chevys, these inserts, some of the screw heads here are actually busted, like this one, straight when I just took it out, it's already cracked. So sometimes you have to go back in. This one's starting to crack. Very common on Chevy. Sometimes you have to go in with a little longer, just do a little bit of custom rigging to it. Cut this piece off. Like I say, Katzkin does such a good color match. A lot of times you don't have to change this unless they're doing a color change or they change the thread color, or like this one, it's really older, dirty. Then you just pull this all off. They kind of melt them in with a heat melt. So you do have to go back and staple this, or you can glue it. I pull the staples that are pulled up out because, as you see, I cut myself all the time on leather. So any way I can prevent getting poked. Those hurt worse because they're like a little paper cut, a little stab. Don't feel very good. Foam does come off. Just lines right back up. You grab the lid cover. Just pretty much set it in. It's cut out for the top plate that we just removed for the handle, the release. You just line up. You got your corner markings for the French seams, or the seams here. Once you have it on, it kind of just holds its place. I just bring the corners in, bring them in flush, because this piece sits on there right up to the edge. So I bring my corners in, 2 good staples, same thing on there. You can, if you staple it and you see it's loose, you can easily pull the staples back out, so don't go crazy with the staples. Pull this towards the front and around so it lines up in that groove, so you're not over here and it causes a big wrinkle. So pull this around towards the front of it, then pull it into the groove, pull it down, same amount of tension. 2. Same thing on the other side. That side's going to be your tighter side because it's the last one. And that pretty much gives you symmetry of your seam. Then here, I just give it just so it's nice and uniform. I don't pull it really hard because there's a lot of stress being pushed on this over years. So you don't want it super tight so it starts busting that seam because it's so tight over the years. I just give it a little touch. Katzkin comes all the way up to the edge, but this cover goes all the way to the outside edge. So I just go along this little edge right here. That way I can cut it because it snaps into these little lock legs. It's got the little legs on here and the little tabs there. So I just pull it so it's uniform. Same thing on the other side. On the back, same way. Kind of just start in the middle, work your way. Just trying to make sure it's smooth, not lumpy. So consistency with your staples. On this back, it does have where it's notched out for the arms to come up. That's hidden between this plastic. It does have a little square piece here. I cut it. You don't see it, but I cut it out straight. Leave just that little bit of material there, just so if somebody is really, really picky, when they look up in there, they see the material versus just a raw cut edge. And here you cut just above your staples. That way you don't have to sit there and cut around each one of those little holes to save you time. On the front, it has 2 little legs that whenever you put this on, it pretty much latches from the front. From this bottom edge, it'll catch them and fold around. So you just tuck some material up in there. We're going to adjust that as we need it. I just like that, pull this and set it down. See how I did that wrinkle? You just got to kind of maneuver the material until you're happy with it. This part of it's the only thing really hard with the Chevys is the console lid. And pull that out, and then we'll put the 2 screws back in the back, see if they hold. If they don't, then we'll take a different step on those. Don't take much, you can almost use a hand screwdriver for this, because if you over tighten them, they definitely will bust out. Use this so long that I've got used to the tension on the drill. Here is where we can make those final adjustments. We'll pull. We'll put some staples in the front. Gets rid of the little wrinkle there by just giving it the pulls. Get the staples there. You don't have to worry about it unpulling out as your time goes. You are all completed. Top console, ready to put it back on. Set our console back up. I get a Phillips on my gun because sometimes it's a little tricky to do 2 hands. You're replacing the same 6 Phillips heads. back in. Legs go down first. It's got little catch legs in the back, just kind of get your coverage in place there. Slide that on. It's only going to go on one way. Either it's going to be raised up and you have a big gap, or it's going to fit perfect and flush all the way around if you're not locked in. Other than that, you are one console done. This is the one without storage. The other one does have the other style trucks. Some of them have another handle here that flips up the same as this for a bottom storage. This is non-storage double cab 1500. Alright, Silverado front seat. This is the passenger seat. On these, it's got two tabs on the headrest. Just push them up to remove the headrest. Okay, these are fairly easy seats. I just laid on the side at first, unclip the back panel. The back panel is a hard back panel on this particular model or year, and it has two little legs just about right here underneath, and if you break them, this panel's our cost at a dealership is around $140. So I press in and I put my fingers down into behind the panel and push that little leg down and pull out. Make sure you feel it release. Same thing on the sides, they've just got two little legs catch. Here's the legs. If you break those, the panel won't stay on unless you rig it. Sometimes you can drill a hole into it and drill a couple of holes into the seat and put a zip tie to try to pull it back if you're trying to save money if you do break them. But if you buy the kits, Katzkin sells it. If you go directly off of, this one's a 15. If you go off of a 15 kit, you will have to put this back in. Our kit, the kits we order to save on keeping things in stock and having multiple kits for the same trucks. We order the new style kit, which is a full back cover. So you just kind of put those to the side. You can actually sell them on eBay, clean them up, sell them, whatever you decide you want to do. Unclip all your clipping. It's got clip on the side. You have the airbag. I just cut it because we're replacing it. It's got a bottom clip. I cut those off just because they're Velcro. And as you're pulling it apart, they want to stick to everything, so I cut them off just so it don't fight me. Unclip the front clip. I give a little slit in the corners here, just so it makes it easier to pull it off. Because I'm going to show you when I flip it over, it keeps you from having to flip the seat so many times. You got two Christmas tree plugs in the back. Pull those out. I saved these because you do not have to put those back in. The kit comes with these little tabs, so you can put them back in, but you can't even see them because the plastic covers up the tabs, so it's kind of useless. So I save those and I use them in the Cherokees, Grand Cherokees, when I would do the 60 on those because they don't have enough Christmas tree. You gotta attach it the way Katzkin's kit versus factory kit. All right, you got a 25 Torx on the back corner. You got two 8mm. You can actually take this whole thing apart on the side and take the cover off by removing the handle, then removing the cover. I'll show you my trick. You got two more 25 Torxes in the front corner. I just kind of pull this panel back a little bit and get my screw gun down in there. This one's the only one that's a little tricky. Pull that off. Two 25s. Switch to the 8mm. Pull the two 8mm out. Because that panel actually attaches to a metal bracket that holds the the lean back handle and everything. So now, just kind of give a little pull. It's resting, the cushion kind of holds it right here. So you have to kind of hold it up front and just work it a little bit to get it out. That's not been the hardest for some reason. And then you can just let it just needs to sit there, because that's you're just going to unclip everything. This is the metal bracket that we just left on. If we were to unclip everything, you would add your screw there, you would add a screw here, you would have to pull your handle off. I just find it easier to do it this way, just because I do so many of these vehicles. And I don't like hunting for those clips if they pop off, which they have special tools for those and special ways to keep them. Remove all your clips all the way around the bottom of the bottom cushion. You got 3 on the right side, 2 on the front, and you have 2 on the back. Some of the vehicles in the Silverados will have your seat sensors, your seat heaters. Some of the newer ones actually have lane detection in the seats, so if you go out of your lane, it vibrates, so you don't have to unplug all that. Just depends on which vehicle you're in and working on. Just make sure you unplug and plug back in the correct place. These are the tags, little legs I was telling you. But you see how dirty they are? That's because the cover is actually this whole piece is covered by plastic. You might see that much of it. You can see how clean it is and then how dirty it is from here down. So I don't put it back in because here's the piece that covers it. So it goes, you pull this off, you wrap it around, and this goes back over it. It's kind of useless for me. I've been doing this body style, and nobody's ever said anything along the lines of, what's that? Show you the trick on those. We're going to separate this and cover this piece. That way when I set it down, I only got to pick it back up once instead of 2 times. This has snap-in clips. It's a little plastic retainer, and it just snaps in. And so I cut them out and pull them instead of trying to go in and release them. If you go in and release them, you have to use a little screwdriver, and you have to go in there and you have to literally open them to release them if you were trying to just fix a panel or fix a cover. So that piece is done. Let me grab the seat cover. Turn the seat cover inside out. You see, here's the legs that I was telling you about. They sew in as well. I don't cut them off or anything. I leave them just in case you do get that one person that says that he needs them back on there. Snap these back in. Sometimes they give you a little hard time because there's not much underneath to press on, because they press in so the foam compresses down. Just line it all up. Chevys are really easy. See, there's your cutouts for lane detection, pre-cut out in the foams that tell you this is a 15. And the lane detection, I think, is only coming in maybe some of the 17s and the 18s, so they've been pre-planning that for quite some time. Then you just make sure it's on square, roll your edges. This cover's nice and warm, it's been in the sun, so it rolls real nice. Real flush. You got 2 little Velcro tabs. That's the ones that go underneath the seat already, and then this would go in and then fold around the metal. But I tuck these in when I put them in. That's what it'll look like. So let's separate take the back cover off, spin it around. The reason why I did all the cutting and trimming on the back is so it's so much easier to remove. I cut a little slit on the headrest just so I can pull them off, because these actually can separate. There's a little spring and stuff in there. There's your airbag strap that we cut out. Katzkin does really well with trying to meet or exceed the factory straps, and the way they reattach this, you can just kind of give it a little pull and they'll slide out. Same as on the bottom cushion, just showing you different techniques where you can cut them, pull them out. Now this seat's ready to go. Same thing. This is the front of the cover. This is the back. I'm telling you, there's a whole full cover back instead of the open back, so you don't have to worry about the plastics. You can save them, sell them, or if you got somebody at the dealership, they buy them. Never know. The only thing difference between this and the other ones is on the newer ones, they do have a piece of hard plastic that goes in here, so when you touch it in, you don't literally kind of feel anything. But that's the only difference. But they're pretty snug and tight, so you never can't go too far with it. I put my hand underneath the lean backs to snap in the clips, because that thing will bow all the way down pretty low, and it's a little harder on the top ones. Just work your way around. There's no specific direction, but you do have to do your middle ones first, work your way outwards. And of course, you wouldn't be able to get the middle ones if you did your sides first. Same way, we got a couple Velcro strips in the front, top corners, and also in the bottoms. We'll attach those after we're all completely done and make sure it's all lined up. Same as the bottom cushion. Line up your edges. Roll, make sure your airbag pieces are pulled out. Show you that in a second. I worked the left side, non-airbag side first, all the way down. This way I only got to flip the seat one time. Try to cut your workload down of how many flips and rotations of the seat, because it will get wore out. Alright, now we're going to go to the airbag. See, this piece just kind of lays here as you're doing everything. Airbag. Pay attention to how they come out. Especially like the Hondas and things, they can be really tricky. This one goes behind it, or down behind, comes in the foam right here, so it kind of wraps the whole metal frame all the way around. This one goes in behind, over the airbag, under the foam. This is the Katzkins, and pretty much the same design as Chevys. So they do really well. They test them, they back them by insurance. They're all very well known for their quality and liability and everything. Then you're ready to go. I snap just fold it back over, lean this, pull this. It's got little legs, like little tabs, heat cloth. It'll let you know that you're lined up. It's got a center, and it's got a center mark. So kind of just line those up. After I get it clipped in, I kind of just make sure that I got the same amount of white J hook on each side. It just kind of tells me that it's centered as it can be. Zip up the zipper down the side. This zipper just folds in. Like I said, this is the exact same cover as on the new ones. Velcro piece comes around and locks it. It folds under and up, and all you got to do is tuck all your material underneath your plastics. That side's done. Lay it on the side here. See it a little better. Same way. Zip it down. Making sure all your zips are nice and tight, and no any groove or where they skip teeth, because that can bust a seam, and that's a nightmare to go in and try to fix a busted zipper. Fold that under the same way. When that rolls under, it kind of just rolls the material on the edges here. Go around your plastic. Now we're ready to lay the seat on its back and slide our cover in. Here, we're going. It's got a little kind of like a little sewed in piece here. You can catch the corner of that foam on it. sometimes they hold, sometimes they don't, but you can fix it on the back side. So again, you're going to tuck those two legs in. Some people may frown about this, but it works really well. Lay the cover down, tuck your material in the back, down between the cover and the bar. And then you're going to do the same thing with the foam. It's tough. If you use a panel tool or something, a lot of times it just pokes holes into the foam because it's so tough, so you just got to rough it out with your fingers. Make sure those pieces are kind of pulled tight, just tight enough. You have to pull out your little tabs because they'll tuck underneath as you slide the cover down. When your cover's in place, I put my front piece on. It's just like a pinch mold. It just pinches, it just goes up almost like a door molding. I don't lay the seat on that side. I just pull and clip these two. Katzkin only does two. The factory does have a third one that's right here. But the way they do their little flap here, and it's nice and snug. It looks really good. Works. Same thing on the driver's side. These covers actually will fit either side. I've seen it happen before. You don't know until you see the Katzkin sticker. They put the Katzkin sticker on the outsides, and also they put in your airbag stickers. I like these due to the fact of if the car was ever in a crash, paramedics or the fire department was cut a seat or so, they know that there's an airbag there, and nobody wants an airbag to go off because they're cutting to try to rescue you on top of your injuries. Well, at least I like to think that's the reason why they do it locked up too. The only thing here is a little tricky. I kind of pull this down just a little bit. It does have a leg here and a groove up in here that this piece hooks into. So this is the hardest part. I'm making it look a little easier. You can look up from the back and slide it right down in there. Your 8mm, just got to wiggle it around a little bit. It'll drop back in the hole. Put my 8mm back in first, just because that piece will line everything back up, and if they're not, they are machined very thin 8mm, and if they're not lined up, you will fight them to get them back on. You can use a little swivel if you need to. Like I said, I've done it for so long. Got the little trick of the angle. Put your 25 torques in the back. If you want to go ahead and finish up the back while you're back here, clip your elastic, which pulls down to show the back of your seat. The whole back of the seat's done. Now we're going to go to the front. Two 25 torques here. This is where you're going to use your forearm and hand to pull this up, and you're going to line them up so you see they're straight in there. And just nice and easy. You don't want to use you can use a long bit, a long shaft bit, or whatever works best for you, but you'll be there all day if you're trying to use a hand screwdriver. And there's your seat. You see here where I was talking about? See how the legs, you don't even see it. The material just goes underneath there, so there's no reason for that flap to really be there that I have found. No rattles, no creaks. Same thing on the driver's side. And it works really well. You come back in, work your Velcros down. I usually do that after it warms up real good, so you don't have any kind of wrinkles. Katzkin does really good on Chevy kits. They look really good after they get some heat on them. We're going to cut out the headrest. It's a round headrest, plastic piece cut just lightly on it. Smaller, a lot smaller than what the actual round is. The round plastic, about the size of the hole. Because you can stretch vinyl, and it'll just slide right around. And if you do, if you cut too much, if the seat shrinks too much, then it pulls on there, and you'll see the foam, and then you'll have a customer back, and you have to warranty, or you'll have to order a new panel. And panels, unfortunately, from Katzkin for a seat gets rather expensive, so please don't mess up. There you go. You got one completed. Body of the seat. Headrest on the Chevys are extremely tight. Actually, Katzkin makes a headrest shrinker. It's rather expensive. They actually make a couple of handheld ones. I have a handheld one, but I'll show you my trick for getting this one on. Make sure your cover's nice and soft from being heated. You can steam them if you're in the cold weather, or you can use set them out in the sun like we are down here in Florida. I use glass cleaner. It's a lot cheaper, Dollar General, $1 or $2 for a can versus silicone spray. And this is just a lot of finesse. Be very careful because this piece here on each side will tear very easy. There's tricks to them to fix them, or you'll have to have somebody sew them. Make sure that you line your bottom cover up correctly. You'll see fat side, small side, smaller side, fat side. You'll work it down. But you don't want to have to take this off and do it again. It's a lot of tricks of this, and this just comes from a lot of practicing doing these headrests. I start with one side. Make sure you keep a hold of that, because you pretty much are just pushing the foam up into it. You're not pulling or stretching the material. It's a little stretch to it, but mostly you're working the foam into it by pushing it and letting it slide down over the foam. And the glass cleaner works really well to make it so it's not sticky and grabbing onto the foam, because foam is pretty, it dries you out and pulls on you. So, these are not easy headrests to do. I make it look easy because I've done so many of them. Most guys I've seen that's come into this line and has done them has tore them first time. Katzkin does sell dye kits or dye to match the leather that you get. So if you do tear like a little, see how that one got a little white? You can actually take some dye and touch it, and you'll never see it. Or you can hit it with a lighter and burn the little white fuzz off. That's it. That's in final touch-up. After you get done with the whole vehicle, you go through it and you find all your little stuff. You QC it. As your completed driver's seat minus being QC. Alright, we got a bench seat out of a Silverado 1500 double cab. We'll remove the headrest, 2 tabs. Remember which way they go. You can tell differently because this one, Dirty Devils, where the chow tether was against the glass. They are a little kind of tilted forward. So I just lay these down so face up. That way when I pick them up and put the covers on, I can kind of mentally remember that was forward. Then you got the cover. Easiest way to remove this cover is just cut it off. There's no electronics in it. Blade, scissors, whatever you got. Try not to cut the foam too bad. It's out of practice not to lay it all open. Maybe just cutting the front of it off. That way you can get to the back seats on the Silverado. It's all Velcro. You pull the Velcro, sometimes the Velcro actually tears out, so therefore you will have to glue these little strips back in because they tear out really easy. If you pull it, try to pull it just straight up, you will yank it. Just work your way from start to finish. If somebody is going behind you and cleaning it up as you're taking stuff apart and throw one away, all you got to do is put some glue in there and then glue this piece, and it works the same way. Don't cut a piece around the little leg here, just so when I fold it over, everything on the front side is completely cut. So when I just lay it over, I can just pull it off. And there's your the lean back part of it, take it apart. So let's flip over. I use it on the bench like this so I can flip it back and forth, and the legs are off of it, so I can just work the whole seat by just flipping it. And these tables you can pick up anywhere, Walmart, Target. Now I'm going to remove the grocery bag holders. They stopped doing these on all the Silverados for some reason, because probably don't use them very much. We typically don't even put them back in because our dealership that we work with said that they didn't really like it. I guess that's why they don't put them in the new trucks. So we have tons of these. Just a little tab, little 25 Torx. Pulls those right out. I take my blade, run it right down the J-clip, cutting a sewed piece, just so, because there's a piece of metal there. If you hit the metal with your blade, it dulls your blade immediately. But this one the same way. Watch out for your listen. This is your pull straps to release the seat up and down. Just a little bit around, because you don't need to do much. You're going to fold it back towards opposite direction and start removing it the same way you did your lean back. Velcro also. Just be careful not to pull your Velcro. Glue this piece off. See, like that one just did. We'll have to go in and glue it. You can either if you have, and that one's tearing off too. That one's already torn off. This is the bottom. It's a lot of wear from people sitting in it, so it's very typical on a used truck. All those to tear out. So glue those back in. Just trying to show you. There we go. Alright, so we got this one. That one looks a little worried. We'll tear it out. They just pull right out. Real easy. Stick it there. This one's, I'm going to go ahead and just, you can pull it up and glue it, but if it's already pulling out, that one was already doing it, so we'll just pull it out too. Let me go get some glue. Get it back. I carry some 3M multi-purpose adhesive. Pick it up O'Reilly's, AutoZone, all the area auto parts. This is a quick for just doing this, or if you have the industrial strength, you can use it as well. I have both. This is just easy. Spray it really good. It gets really sticky on your fingers. If you spray your fingers, so I try not to. I just use the old cover to spray it on, and then same thing here. Spray that groove really good. It's not going to hurt anything if you get a lot of over glue on everything. Try not to get it on any kind of your covers or plastic, because stuff makes it hard to get off unless you have the right stuff to get it off. Let it tack up really good, because if not, it'll grab all your edges of your phones and be pulling, and it won't be crisp lines. Okay, this was the glue we used. It's really good and strong. 3M makes it. This is your citrus-based cleaner. 3M makes it as well. This would be what you would use to clean up. It doesn't. It smells really like a bunch of oranges, so it cleans up the glue really well. Cleans the seats real good. So if you get overspray, you can use this as well to clean up. Use mineral spirits from Home Depot, Lowe's. Only thing with that is it seems to dry it out and leave it really dry, like pulls all the oils out. Okay, so you can see here where it's nice and smooth, and this is real rough. Pretty much just line it back up where it was, separating it as you go so it don't stick to the sides like it did on the bottom there. You just work it back in place. It ain't got to be perfect in there, as long as it lines up pretty close. Same thing down the centers. Same thing. And you can actually take a steamer if you have a nice little Jiffy steamer. You can steam all this foam with a steamer, and it'll pull it back to its original stamped shape. Like it'll crisp all this up into nice squares. If you sit here and you steam it, it'll take you a while to do it, but it does turn it into a really nicer product. It gets rid of all the roundness. It really fluffs the foam back out. You can get the covers, and we'll start with the cover. We'll start with the lean back portion. This is the Katzkin cover, Velcro, and J-clips. Pull it apart. It's nice and warm from sitting out in the sun, so it's real pliable. What I start here with, kind of just get it laid up on the seat and basically where it needs to be. So much Velcro, it wants to stick to everything. Try to get the back of it down. Basically what we're doing is we're lining it up, just like you would line up corners of a paper. You get your piece here that's going to lay in your inserts, and then I'll start there, just making sure it's nice and they both line up. The same thing, I come over here, I don't rub it to it, I just line that up to it, pull it nice and tight, and then I'll work it, and I'll go back and rub it. That way that holds that cover in place on this side, just that one section. Don't do all the Velcro. Same thing on this side. Just because you got the Velcros down the center as well. We're going to get to that. Same thing here. We're going to line those up, pull the cover nice and tight, make sure it lays down in there, rub it down, pull the sides, same exact way, work it. I'll work it to the outside so it kind of just pulls it, stretches it. Now we're going to stretch it around. We will rub all the Velcro down once it's all completed and wrapped. Just work it all around. You do have child tethers on this seat, so you have to tuck the material into the child tether. That's what covers the framing. Just tuck them in there. We'll pull them out from the back side. Once we roll it over, this is just finger strap. No true trick to it. Just get them down in there. Because when you flip it over, you can pull them and work them around. Get all 4 of them. Then we're going to tuck our J-hook. Sometimes you can lean it and work it, the seat back and forth a little bit to help you. So make sure your nails are cut down a little bit, because you've got long nails. You go to tuck this, it will rip your nail backwards on most of all the seats. I'm sorry. Okay, now we're ready to flip the seat over. Lay it down. This is what I was saying. We can go back and adjust all this. We're going to pull these out. Kind of, Katzkin does a little notch on them, so they kind of just lay over. Pull them out nice and tight. Just work all the way down. And then you're ready to put the J-hook. I stand on the back side so I can pull the J-hook and I can hold it with my fingers. And you just gotta stretch it and work this piece. And they're sewed so you can match the seams. And it can be very hard on your hands if you don't do this very often. Now you match up your back Velcros. And that's one side. You come around to the other side. Do the same exact thing. Stretch it, pull it. That would have been right there if you would have had a long fingernail. It would have tore it off and thought you were having a hard time. Now try it with a bleeding, very sore finger. If you use blades, a dull blade cuts you worse than a sharp blade. So please don't be shy to use blade, be shy to throw one away and start with another. Alright, now we're ready to flip it back down. See, it's kind of lined up. Sides over there, we'll manipulate that. Now you're ready to go in and rub your long pieces in. Just stick in the Velcro. And if it gets out of, if you don't like the way it's looking, if it's bunching up in one area, like right here, I'll show you a trick. I take a little hook tool and go down into the seam, in between the seam, and you can pull it, the Velcro back up. Just make sure you don't poke the material. You're just going in between the seam. That way it'll fall back. Now you can go in there and re-Velcro it. See how that kind of got rid of a lot of it? Then this will shrink too. It'll tighten all up. And that's your lean back. A little trick of the Velcro. Now we're going to do the bottom cushion. On this, I like to flip the seat around because this cover rolls down a little bit. Like that. Grab the cover. It's got Velcro down, or zipper on this one. Some of them have a little hook. Same. Unzip it. We'll do this one pretty much the same way we just did the other cover. Lay it down. Kind of get it in place. Line the Velcros back up. Just do those little sides. And so when you pull it back up if you need to, with a little hook tool or a little angle tool. Make tools. Harbor Freight makes a little pick set that's really good for this too. They're silver, very, 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 almost look like dentist picks. If you're worried that a bigger hook is going to be too big to go down in there. Those work really good. I don't do the back one yet. I'll wait till I get it all clipped because when you do that one, it makes it so much tighter to clip. So I'll wait on it. Roll your edges. We're going to tuck this J-hook. This one's a little bit harder. Sometimes you just figure out what works best for you. Sometimes you can pull it from the back side through. Once you get it started, just to work it. Find your own little trick to pull material. There's no true art to it. You can just practice doing it. Alright, now kind of just take a glance out to see where we're at with it. Just pushing the foam down. Got a little leg to sit back. First thing we're going to do is we're going to hook our J hooks back up. Hook all this just like we did on the other one. This one don't stretch as easy because it is jute carpet. The carpet does stretch a little bit. Not as easy as that vinyl did when it's really warm. I have to show you a trick on the pool handles. That's the real tricky part of this seat, is those, because once you cut this stuff, there's no going back. There is a couple little tricks to fix it, not very many. I'll lay my handle down so I know exactly where it's at. Come back, zip it. Just zip it a little bit in case you have to pull it back apart to get to it. Now, you don't want to cut through that black handle, the listing on that, because that stuff is like seat belt. It'll just unravel on you over a period of time. So just come up about a 1/4 inch above where I flipped it over the bar, because it's in a metal frame, and just give it a little 1-inch slip. You can go back, unzip it. You zip it to make sure you're lined up right the first time, and then you just work your pull handle back through. I wish they could, if they could line it up and sew in a nice little area there, would be really nice, but with it being all Velcro and jute carpet, it's really hard for Katzkin to be able to do that and line it up perfect. You can use a hook tool to pull zippers. Be really careful. Hook tools hurt really bad when they stab you. Alright, that's one side for you. We're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Just fold this handle down. Come around your zipper. My hands are getting sweaty, so just using my hook tool. Do a little pull, about 3/4, almost all the way. Feel that square again. Come just about a 1/4 inch. Cut a 1-inch little hole. You can't, if you stick the blade in there, it'll only let you go so far because the metal cages in there. The frame built out for it, so it'll only let you go so far. But don't rely on that. You can always cut a little bit, peek, zip it back up, cut a little bit more. Just be careful. Just take your time. So I've done this so many times that I got a feel for it now. Alright, now we're going to fold it back down and we're ready to do our Velcro. Velcro on this particular seat bottom. The piece that I told you we'd wait till last, or wait till after we zip it off, that's the piece I go first. You're pretty much lined up with your seams, so you just try to hit it, go in. Just karate chop it down in there. And that gets that. See how that crisp line is versus over there, and just work your way. A lot of Bruce Lee movies. And then you can come back and work your same thing. This covers the bottom one's a little tighter. Sometimes you got to go different directions or push it in there. It just depends on where it's at on the Velcro strip. And you got it lined up pretty good. As you sit in it, over your time, it all Velcros too. This foam here is a little wore down. should be pulled up a little bit more. If you go in and actually repair your phone with the steam and everything, that's why it's a little baggy right there. Compared to over here, it's not as baggy. All this will shrink out and look really nice. Get it out in the sun or really cold weathers. You can actually use heaters, like burn them. Cut out our headrest tabs. Got two on each side. They're square, just little holes. This is vinyl. Will stretch all around it. Nice. That's just a little bit of soap foam underneath that you see this white. I'll just tuck it around. Just be really careful. Try not to cut the plastic because the blade will cut a little groove in it. And now we can go to the headrest real quick. Finish up this seat. We'll slide this back. Remember, I picked them up for front forward. You can actually mark it if you feel more comfortable before you take them out with a little pen, grease pencil, or chalk. They have like a foam, almost like saran wrap on there. You can use Katzkin sells bags just for those. They actually use them for their headrest sinker. So you can use those. It helps the material slide. Or you can use your bags from Walmart, CVS, any of your grocery bags. And you can tell the fronts and backs. The back was, remember, the smaller side. So on this, these are fairly easy. Slide these on. Just pull your little legs up that they sew really nice. There you go. They sew the seams around them really nice, so they're kind of finished. Get the J-hook. You can massage them a little bit. Just make sure everything's all tucked in there. There you go. Headrest is done. Same thing, repeat. There you go. That's your completed back seat for 1500 double cab. Solid bench.